Welcome back to the Make Stuff Fix Things channel on episode 3 of the Airstream renovation series. If you haven't seen episodes 1 and 2, I encourage you to go check them out. So far in the series, we've gutted the trailer and done some initial cleanup of the rust and corrosion on the subframe. In this episode, I get the old Endcap removed and a new one installed. I'm working towards actually getting the trailer rebuilt versus being disassembled. Thanks for tuning in. If you haven't subscribed, please consider doing so and hit that notification bell so you don't miss future episodes from the Make Stuff Fix Things channel. Thanks again for watching. Updates on the trailer. So I've actually got all of the interior side skins pulled off, and I'm going to try not to take the full ceiling down, so I just removed this end, which is where I'll be having to have access to work on riveting. But basically I just rolled those side panels up and clamped them, so they're trying not to have to take them out because they're kind of unwieldy. I have also drilled out nearly all of the rivets holding the entire end shell on, and so it is actually mostly separated all the way around, and I've bumped it back just a little bit just to get that separation, so probably moved it back about a half or 3/4 of an inch on the back. I still have to find or clean up all the sealant, and then there's one rivet beneath the actual beneath the top railing that the awning attaches to on the one side, but it's basically where the roof and the sides of the exterior are joined. That piece is put on after the shell is put together, clearly. So there's a rivet under there that I have to get to, and I'll probably end up just drilling it out from the inside if I can find it, because I think that'll be easier than actually removing any significant portion of that railing, because I really do not want to take the awning all the way off. So I'm trying to get away with that. Other than that, I still have to I have not got the subfloor cut. I feel like I've got most of the frame stuff pretty well cleaned up. I still have a little bit of rust in here I want to clean up, and I want to make sure that the wheel well areas are nice and as best as I can get them on both sides before I actually put that down. But my plan is going to be to put this section in first, and then bring some rigidity back to the shell, because this back end's kind of flopping around, and I don't want it to have any further damage there. Yeah. I'm going to try to grab down here. Ready? Oh, yeah. Oh. Well, can we try to walk it out then? It was lighter than I expected.
Where do you want it?
Here we are unloading the new Endcap. This is actually one of the first major delays of the project. I went to get the Endcap from the FedEx warehouse, and it turned out a forklift had actually punctured the crate and damaged the Endcap. So this is the second one shipped from Airstream, which arrived a couple months later. So here we have the old and new end shells side by side, so the old on the left and the new on the right. You can see some of the existing damage to the old one. And then also right here you can see the lower half of the old end shell is actually painted silver by somebody previously to mask some of the damage and shoddy repairs that they had done. The new end shell looks pristine. One of the nice things about it is the newer style window. So the whole window opens versus on the old one, just a small lower quadrant of it opens. So it should be much nicer for getting some breeze through the trailer. One of the major issues we were having with the old end shell was water damage, or water intrusion rather. A lot of the internal framing was damaged, and I really think this window frame was tweaked, and that's where it wasn't sealing well around there anymore, and a lot of the water was coming in from there. So next step for this will be to get it fit in the trailer. Now have everything test fit. So there's the new inside of the new end shell. And then here are the how I've done the subfloor. So this is that 15 mil Baltic birch. I ended up doing it in quadrants. I know should not do segmented subfloor, but as previously mentioned, due to the width of the trailer, just was not able to find anything, and didn't want to have to redo the entire subfloor or do a full shell off. By the way, so right now this is all just test fit. I've not done any riveting on the exterior shell. Hopefully doing that next weekend. I've done initial epoxy on the top of all these. The two, I guess, front pieces have epoxy on the edges and bottom as well. I just need to pull out the two rear curved pieces and seal up those edges, and a little, probably do 6-8 inches on the bottom side there as well, just to really protect those from water seeping in, even condensation from seeping into the subfloor long term. But feeling pretty good about the fitment. It's definitely a challenge to work this whole end shell into the subfloor and inside, because you can see it sits inside of the side walls, so lots of wrangle in there, but feeling pretty good about it. taking a quick break from the video to go over some of the tools and different types of rivets that I'm using on the Airstream. So for this Endcap procedure, and how the exterior shell of the Airstream, it is constructed with what's called a solid rivet. So it is a completely solid piece of aluminum that you actually squish together in order to create in order to turn it into an actual fastener. That process of squishing, we use basically what is an air hammer with a custom mandrel. This is designed specifically for 5/32 rivets, which is what we're using for the Airstream shell. And then you use what's called a bucking bar, which can come in a couple different shapes and sizes, as you can see here, which is basically a pretty heavy chunk of metal that you put on the back side of the rivet, and combined with the air hammer, you squish the rivet together. Another common rivet that I'm using on the underside and interior of the Airstream is called a pop rivet. So this is probably what most people think of when they think of rivets. And so these are used on the Airstream, but not on the exterior necessarily, because these are not a watertight rivet. The benefit of the solid rivet is when you're done, there's no hole or any penetration through the skin left. So I actually got this air hammer and the rivet set, and actually a lot of these rivets, I believe, from a vintagetrailer.org or .com. One of the other tools I got from them, this is actually for drilling out the rivet. So this has a drill bit inside here that's actually spring-loaded to pull back. And what you do is you actually set this on the head of the rivets, which locates it, and then you push the drill in, and this actually just drills out the very center section of the rivet, leaving in my case, the shell of the Airstream intact without any additional damage or any new holes, or without actually enlarging the hole at all. So here's a quick little demonstration of how to actually utilize one of the solid rivets. So joining these two pieces, we've drilled the appropriate size hole, and we slip our rivet in there. The length of the rivet will depend on the thickness of the material you're trying to join. You don't want it to be too big, otherwise it'll be very difficult to create the mushroom effect that you're looking for. So I take my air hammer on the head of the rivet, my bucking bar on the back side, and then you should only take a few hits. There we go. So now, zoom in here a little bit. Now you can see these two pieces are joined together, so we've mushroomed the back side of this rivet. The head is solid, so we have a watertight seal there. So for a pop rivet, this is a pneumatic, it's not a very nice one, but a pneumatic rivet tool. So this, we take the pop rivet, it slides into the mandrel of this, stick it in the hole, and then you can see we'll give this a pull, and with one swift action, and it pulls and separates the mandrel of the rivet from the rest of it, but has the same or similar mushrooming effect on the back side. But unlike the solid rivet, we actually have a hole in the middle of the rivet where that mandrel was. So these aren't really suitable for a watertight seal, but they are very useful internally and then on the underside of the trailer. And then, give you a little demonstration of the rivet removal tool. So chuck this up in the drill, You can see here's that spring-loaded effect. So this simply fits over the head of the rivet. Boom, just like that. And we drilled a hole directly through the head of that solid rivet, which keeps, and then the backside just fell out. So this is what I used to remove all of the rivets around, the original rivets around the shell of the trailer in preparation for removing the end cap. And then all these solid rivets are what my dad and I used to rivet the new end shell on. So I was on the outside of the trailer with the air hammer, and then he was on the inside of the trailer using the different bucking bars. So yesterday we got almost the entire back end riveted on. You can see I have a couple clecos up there still, and then needed to pull some longer rivets out of the stash for where the seams are, and we're trying to go through 4 layers of sheet and the internal channel, so those are going to require some 1/2-inch rivets, and then a couple problematic ones down here where there's a backing bracket inside that we have to work around so we can get the bucking bar on the back side. But overall, pretty happy with how it came together. I seem to have lost some of the video footage here, so excuse the stills, but after we got the end cap riveted on, the next step was to get the underbelly in place and then put some new insulation in there prior to starting to fit the new subfloor. Here are a couple shots of the completed interior, so the end cap riveted on and then the new subfloor permanently installed. Once the interior was all put together, I still needed to button up the outside. So here are the previous, they call this the underbelly wrap. So this joins the bottom skin of the trailer to the side. The new underbelly wrap comes as a giant roll, so I had to cut that up and then use the old pieces as templates to make new ones. In order to install the underbelly wrap, I had to get it going, and then I wanted to fill that with insulation prior to actually getting it around the corner and riveting it to the side. Today I've gotten one side of the underbelly wrap done. This was a bit challenging, to say the least, and I ended up getting a couple of dents in it just to make that the curve there was a little challenging, but I'm really excited with how it's coming together. All new aluminum underbelly. Some of my rivet mandrels are snapping off, so I'm going to bring the grinder in there and cut those off, but new stabilizer jacks in the back all mounted up, which is great. They operate nice and smoothly. They're not bent or mangled. But yeah, I have a few more rivets to do, on this side, and then still need to do the belt line trim next. But pretty excited with how this is coming together. Even the paint, so this is a charcoal gray Rust-Oleum. It's not the actual Airstream color paint that I used here, and lighting now probably is making it not look as close, but I think that actually looks pretty good overall. One thing is a little challenging. The end cap came, the lower panel. You can kind of see it here. Well, maybe if it focuses. Not the appropriate amount of space between the bottom of the C channel and the bottom of the aluminum panel there, so I did have to go and try to cut this back, which was a little rough. Didn't do the best job of it, but it's hard to use an angle grinder on the aluminum, and then also when it's kind of tapered there. So, but overall, you know, coming together. Pretty excited about this. It's looking good. There's no holes, no corrosion. See, working to install this lower side body molding to cover the seam between the underbelly and the side panel. Just need to cut it to length. I'm gonna put some Vulcan behind it, or some Sikaflex behind it. I want to say a big thank you to my dad for coming over and helping me get the end shell riveted on. I could not have done it without you.